Jackson, you want to start it off?
Should he not be in it?
Jackson.
Hey guys, happy 2025. We're here tuning in from Atlas to talk about the upcoming 2025 48 state tour, which has been buzzing since we launched the location requests. We're super excited and we just wanted to go over some of the newer requirements that we have decided on and stuff like that. A couple of the bigger requirements that we decided on have to do with parking and restrooms. So do you want to talk a little about that?
Absolutely. So thanks, Courtney, and Happy New Year, everyone. We're really excited for this upcoming tour after doing 200 free events. At least 2 events in every state in the lower 48 contiguous states in the United States. We're coming back for 2025, and events are going to be better than ever. And so based on all of our travels last year, doing 56 events, it was the most epic tour ever, and nothing got rained out, which was like outrageous. We had a couple of one early ending and a couple delays, but anyway, so we're really excited about this year. But we learned a lot from the previous tours, and especially from last year, and so we want to make improvements. And so we determined that it's not fair to people that are less, have less physical abilities, and like you go to every store now and they have a lot of handicap spaces in front, and I felt really bad when we did a lot of events and there was no way for them to attend, and we actually had people show up that traveled like hours to come and they like couldn't park. And then on a few occasions, it was like neighborhoods and they didn't feel safe. In other situations, it was just so far away. And so that was something that we really had to address. And so that's why we added the requirement for more parking. And so another thing is that we can modify that a little as long as there's some handicap parking and there's someone there to facilitate that and make sure that, people that need those accommodations can get close. Other people that are able-bodied can, walk a little bit as long as it's not a dangerous neighborhood and stuff. And so that was one of the requirements.
Definitely.
So,
yeah, I think that will be really helpful. Sometimes some of the events I've attended, there's no one facilitating the parking, and so that's going to be like a big game changer as far as accessibility goes. And so another one of the requirements that we discussed is having bathrooms nearby. There's been some locations where you have to leave the whole site and hope that the local, building was open, and we just can't deal with that. We don't want people to leave. We don't want to go too far. So that was another requirement.
Absolutely, and it's unfair for people. And I mean, if you attend any event, like a company picnic or some fair, or there's always got to be accommodations for that. And so if there's restrooms like in a church graveyard, and there's a church there and the doors open, that's all good. There's no problem there at all. But so many sites, even like say a garden cemetery that might be 30 or 60 acres or more, and there might be a restroom in the very front, but there's not really any work for us to do in the front. So by the time we get to the back, it's a long, a half mile away. Mm-hmm. So we have to make, plans for that better. And so people could, use a restroom during the event. And, even the people that are holding it, such as myself, might have to use a restroom at some point during the day. And I can't really stop for long when I have 100 people there waiting for me to, teach them. So, so those were 2 of the changes really that we made that were significant. And so the only other thing is there's going to be like a basic fee required, which is going to offset some of the costs of the tour, to be clear. And you want to talk about that a little more, Courtney?
Yeah, so we did decide to have a basic host fee this time around. It's really critical that the hosts have supplies on hand. So that fee includes a custom supply package that we will make for each host and ship ahead of time. And it's great because although Jonathan will have supplemental materials, all of those supplies that you have left over from the event you can keep and continue on to use with all the knowledge that you learn during the workshop. And there's a separate fee included in that, which is just helping to offset some of our travel expenses. We've done this completely for free for the past 5 years, and we decided that it's time to really get more serious and get people who are really committed to their event, and so this was one of the ways that we decided would help that goal.
So the other thing is, I'm traveling all over the country. I've done, again, over 200 events for free just on the tour, and it is very difficult to have the needed supplies. And so we're not sure how many people are going to come, and they're really enthusiastic, and they all want to, in many parts of the country where there's a lot of biological growth, that's another thing, like different needs in different parts of the country. But in most regions where we're doing the cleaning, like we do in places there's a lot of rainfall, we use a lot of product, and it's hard to carry all that along. And sometimes, people get so enthusiastic, they're just helping themselves to supplies out of the back of the open vehicle. Mm-hmm. And it's, there needs to be dedicated supplies that are unique for that event. And also, just one other thing I'll mention, traveling around tends to be sunny days, hot weather, and, we can't be bringing all these brushes. We don't have time to clean them. We're going on to another event. So part of those supplies are going to be things that stay there with the host. Mm-hmm. And so the idea of the tour, to be clear, is to teach people how they themselves can do the work themselves, because every town in America has a great need for this. Rarely do they have the funding, and rarely do they have the expertise. And so what this is to come in and bring in the knowledge and as I like to say, hands-on practical solutions to common problems, keep it simple, stupid, and teach people how they can make a difference in their local communities. And so that's what the tour is all about. And there's been kind of some misunderstanding that we're just there, just to fix some stones. And that is a byproduct of it. There is some work done at every event, and that's what the benefit is, additional benefit of being a host of the event, plus the host doesn't have to travel. But the other side of it is that everyone else can come and attend for free. And so that we attract from a wide range. Sometimes people travel 2 hours, 4 hours. We've had people travel halfway cross country to attend to events because there's so few opportunities on this subject matter. And so
definitely. And so we can't stress enough that if you aren't in a situation to be able to host an event, that the whole point of the tour is that you attend an event near you so that you can still attend for free. We're not changing that. And you can learn all the skills, techniques, and information to bring back and make a difference in your community.
Absolutely. And I also want to mention that over these 200 events since 2020, we did not even keep track of who came. We did not require registration, and we will move forward to doing a voluntary registration only so we can stay in touch with people if they want to, receive our updates and things. But we don't even know exactly how many people have attended, but I can estimate, because we've had some events of 125 people, we've had some that were sort of duds, but figuring that we averaged about 35 people per event, pretty basic math, 200 events, we're up to about 7,000 people that have attended these events across the United States of America, and we've held at least 2 events in every 48 state in the contiguous lower 48 states, and at least. At least 2 events in every state. In some states like New York, we've had 10 events probably, but I've lost track, maybe more. For every other year since we started the tour, the first year of the tour, the goal was to do 48 events in 48 states in 48 days, which is kind of insane. And it was like the gravestone restoration Olympics, the ultimate marathon, Ironman challenge of gravestone restoration, if you will. And so ultimately I was able to do 41 events in 49 days because I added the District of Columbia. That was number 49. And I had weather issues. And so I was snowed out of Colorado, smoked out of the West Coast with all the fires. Ironically and unfortunately, our hearts go out to the people in California that are dealing with that again. But in that time period in 2020, terrible fires all over the West Coast. So we didn't travel there. It was not safe. And so then rain in the South. But I just want to say that tour, was just very spontaneously created because I wanted to, give back and create something goodwill mission in that time period. And people came out in large numbers to a lot of events. I did not have a long-term plan to keep doing this on an ongoing basis. But after we did the first tour, people came and they started, calling us, and Courtney's getting the calls on the front line now, and they're reaching out, emailing, and they're saying, what are you going to do next year? What are you going to do next year? So, we did some regional tours the following year in 2021, and then in 2022, I decided I'm going to do it again and do the whole country. And so we did, and it was amazing, and the people came out at most events in really solid numbers, and generally the feedback is amazing, and people are so appreciative, of what we've done to help further, this cause and teach people and help create the whole field of gravestone preservation. And, it's grown so much since I've been in the field, and, I transitioned into this full-time now 25 years ago.
Hey, how's it going? Will, Courtney's husband, very excited for the 2025 48 state tour. Well, I guess technically 25 state tour this year, but it was really counting that. It's going to be a pretty wild ride. It already has. I can tell by all the chatter I've seen on Facebook and other things watching you. So, but it's going to be a really cool time. I'm really excited to see, experience from behind the scenes, the startup, the getting everything together, the logistics, the challenges, and everything each year. Bring something new and different to the field. It's always something that's growing. We're evolving too, so it's really cool to see by just how much we've come in the last couple of years.
So there's been a lot of chatter on social media since we launched the location request form. And so one of the main concerns is, what would you say to someone saying all of a sudden that this is just a money grab?
I mean, we've spent a tremendous amount of money to do this tour, and the results are not based on desiring money. We're trying to teach people how to do this work, and obviously there is a promotional aspect that we are seen in places, but ultimately it's a goodwill mission. It's a lot of miles, and that's another thing to talk about the costs, and the cost of gas alone. And I mean, we put in basically a $200 for travels and hotels, and it's costing who knows how much. But the thing is also that to use a phrase that's been used in many situations, people have to get some skin in the game here, and they have to step up to the plate. And any local community in America, they can come together, and they can join forces. If there's a small cemetery and there's not enough people involved, or there's not good parking, well, there's another one about a mile away or 3 or 5 miles away in the town or the county. And the idea is for people to band together to get us to the area to teach them. It's not to get us to go to one location so free work can get done. That's the thing that was really misunderstood. And a lot of free work was done, but that was not the intent of the tour. It was not planned for that mission. The mission is to teach people how they themselves can do this themselves in their local communities, because your average graveyard has 50 stones, 100 stones, 1,000 stones in need, and we can fix a handful and clean a few dozen, and then they can take over from there. And I'm not saying the skills that we teach are comprehensive, but, able-bodied, intelligent people can learn a significant amount in a day. And we advise, attending more than one event. And we've had many people that have attended event after event, sometimes for year after year. And sometimes it becomes just a hobby for them to attend events, which is great. I mean, we're all inclusive about that. And so I just want to say that, the more the merrier, and you can come to as many events as you want, as long as you're willing to learn and participate. That's what it's all about. So, we're looking forward to this upcoming tour, and we've already had some great submissions coming in, and the locations look excellent. We're trying to get all over the country again, but I will say, we're not going to go to every state. We're doing 25 events, and so people have to step up to the plate, and they have to come together and, offer a location that's well suited for a public event where people can come together and learn.
Definitely. And then one other thing I wanted to mention is, going to different events and things like that. One of the requirements that we added was local promotion, but from the event host. So we've attended or, ran events that there was no local promotion done. We've done events where there was a ton of local promotion, including banners, newspaper articles. The mayor was at the event. So that
Yes.
really makes a difference. And just a few phone calls, emails, discussions with people in the town can make a huge difference.
And we're not naming any names here, but we've had hosts that have had barbecues at events and have been generous and brought everyone pizza and had all kinds of extra provisions. Mm-hmm. And so, our hats go out to you. And, we want to thank everyone that's attended and
Yes.
every host that's been involved with the tour. And we want to make this sustainable so we can keep doing this. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, I would love for this to be launched and become a nonprofit of some kind at some point and have many more people involved. But, I can only do this so long, but, so far so good. So we're going for another year now. But, someone has got to join in with this. And, we're always interested in future collaborations. So if anyone sees this and they want to get on board in some capacity, reach out to us, become part of it. And, who knows where this can go. I mean, it should be a significant nonprofit where people can contribute to it. We started this as a personal mission. I'll also add that, the first tour, it was very off the cuff. We did not have funding. And so, I personally funded it to make it happen. So,
Yes, it's amazing what the tour has blossomed into, and we are really blessed. We thank you all so much for all your support, all the hosts, the attendees, some of our sponsors that we've had, and we're really excited for 2025. You can find us at Atlas Preservation on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, YouTube, and atlaspreservation.com, 48StateTour.com, and let's go summer 2025.